guest tonight, Naomi Judd. Robert Townsend. From Snow Falling on Cedars, Yune. And Dinesh D'Souza.
Hey, thank you so much. Hey, I know why you're happy. You watched that State of the Union, unless you have cable. But, no, President Clinton, wow, what a bittersweet moment. His final State of the Union address that he gave tonight. And, you know, he's feeling a little wistful, a little too comfortable, perhaps, his last one, because, you know, they always have that guest of honor in the balcony. Tonight's was a chick from the travel office named Shaniqua. Yeah, he really wanted to focus on his legacy and put all the scandals behind him. In fact, the theme of the speech was, the era of big girlfriends is over. And now, I'm sure you're following. We're going to talk about tonight the saga of little Elian Gonzalez down in Miami. He saw his two grandmothers. Did you hear the latest? I love this. The kid saw his grandmothers. I don't think they really convinced him to go back to Cuba, because then he spoke by phone to a TV reporter, as most 6-year-olds do. And he said, I will get my U.S. citizenship tomorrow. Wow, this kid is really assimilating fast. He's going to get his citizenship tomorrow, and Saturday night, he's got a date with his teacher. So he's finally, I think we should put the bow on this issue. We've done it many times. Thomas Jefferson, Sally Hemings. Well, today, Sally Hemings, Thomas Jefferson, it became sort of official. The Thomas Jefferson Foundation said they looked at the DNA for one last time, and they're giving up. They're saying, yes, Thomas Jefferson did father kids by his slave, Sally Hemings. They said the final proof, besides the DNA, was they looked at the back of a nickel where they have Monticello, Jefferson's home, and they noticed a little kid breakdancing on the porch. So, let's meet our panel. He's a research fellow at the American Enterprise Institute, an author writing a book, A Boot on Prosperity and Technology, Dinesh D'Souza. Dinesh. Hey, you. Good to see you back here. A very talented actor, one of the 12 stars of Snow Falling on Cedars, Yune. Hey, Rick. Good to have you here. Thank you. He's the very dynamic star of Up, Up, and Away on the Disney Channel and The Little Richard Story next month. Wow, on another network. I got to see that. Robert Townsend, yeah. Hey, buddy. Good to see you. Good seeing you. Good seeing you. Little Richard Story, huh? She'll join her daughter on the Power to Change tour beginning February 4th to perform their greatest hits and new music from Winona's album, New Day Dawning. Naomi Judd. Hey, you. How you doing, Judy?
This is call me doll.
Yeah, right. I call doll. Right. I called you babe. Sorry. All right, I want to talk about this Elian Gonzalez. Now, we all know the story so far. I'm not going to review that and bore you. What I don't think you probably know, most of you, is that Elian is in a, now that he looks like he's going to be staying here, he's in a private school there in Little Havana in Miami, where he receives a textbook. All the students, when they enter this school, this is called the Citizens Training Handbook. It is their key textbook. Listen to some of the things that this little boy and everybody who goes to the school is being taught. It says from the book, I quote, "The U.S. is a Christian society. Good citizens should support prayer in private and public schools." This is in a textbook. "Nixon got a raw deal, and real Americans now regret this and honor him." This is in a textbook.
There are gross inaccuracies in our curriculum textbooks, and this is an example of one of them.
This is not an inaccuracy, excuse me. This is propaganda, which is why I thought he was leaving Cuba.
Well, but who wrote the textbook? I mean,
it's the guy who runs the school, Demetrio Perez.
He should just say no.
What are some of the doctrines that Elian was receiving when he was in Cuba?
Well, I don't know, but I don't know how it could be more brainwashing than this is. I don't understand why this
maybe he needs to go to a better school. I mean, see, the difference is that
The difference is that in this society, you have stupidity, but you have criticism. You have dissent. And you can leave if you don't like it. That's the difference between the two.
A 6-year-old can leave the school
no,
if he doesn't like it?
No, not in that sense, but his parents could put him in a different school, or his relatives could in this particular case, couldn't they? I mean, we couldn't be having...
Do you think it's wrong for a textbook to say the U.S. is a Christian society, good citizens should support prayer in private and public schools?
I mean, those statements are a mixture of the controversial and the absurd, and they should be criticized. But
the absurd?
I think there are two issues here, Bill. One is that there are gross inaccuracies in all of our textbooks. We've had a lot of exposure about that in the last 2 years. Scientific, medical, geography, historical, etc. This is inappropriate. However, I think his mother would be smiling from above, just thanking God that he is in an American school, because she gave her life for this opportunity.
Yeah, well, sure.
I can tell you disagree. I know that eyebrow.
No, I'm not disagreeing, but that was just such a political comment. I think you should run in New Hampshire. It also says, listen to this, it says you can send flowers to women, but never to men.
Generally
what?
Sound rule.
That's what this textbook is like a sort of like a guidebook to life. It says you can serve cocktails at parties and wine with dinner.
Well, what bothers me about the textbooks is all the witchcraft and all the New Age, woo-woo stuff. It's also balanced on the other side. I mean, off balance on the other side. We need a complete overhaul of our textbooks in general, grades 1 through 12.
Listen to this. It says, from birth, children need their parents.
Amen.
Yeah. If we took if we took a general look at the policies coming out of a communist country and the policies coming out of a capitalist country, I think that if we looked at the United States as a whole, the indoctrinations coming from this country would be a lot more beneficial for the greater people than
Nixon got a raw deal, and real Americans now regret this. I may even agree with that.
North
I think
Korea,
Nixon did get a raw deal. I wouldn't presume to teach it to a child.
In North Korea,
that's
they
real
praise
kid stuff too.
This is out of his textbook.
This is his text.
Not a comic book.
Not a 6-year-old. No.
Well, that's in the textbook.
They're teaching about Nixon.
Nixon got a raw.
What grade is he in?
Nixon got a raw deal, and the 6-year-old kid from Cuba is like, I don't know about that. You know, I think the Democrats made some mistakes there too.
But Bill, you know, this is some little principal in some little school, and here on a national show, you're lampooning and ridiculing the guy, and rightly so. But what our point is, this conversation wouldn't happen in Cuba, so you wouldn't have that clash of ideas.
Yeah,
but that's not the issue. The issue is that this kid is getting brainwashing indoctrination that is absolutely no better than the island that he is supposedly leaving for freedom.
Well.
And it also says, Lucy cannot come down to the club. All right, I have to take a commercial. We'll be right back. Okay, I want to remind you, Super Bowl. You know, the ABC's got the Super Bowl, Sonny, and we get you don't care about you don't care that ABC has it, or you don't care about the game?
I don't care about the game.
You don't care about the Super Bowl?
Contact sports.
I don't know what that. What kind of sports do you like?
But I do know a good tight end when I see one.
Oh, hello. Oh, tight end meaning. I get it. Okay. Well,
you got it.
Yeah, I got it. Why do I have a tight end? Anyway, we're going to have Margaret Cho as our correspondent there, Jason Alexander, Rick Schroeder, Mark Harnan, Shannon Elizabeth, Ali Landry's in now, right? Billy Corgan and the Smashing Pumpkins. It's a great show. Okay.
Oh, now, I thought it was the next category.
No, I'm just telling you, we're plugging our...
That was a shameless plug.
It's a shameless plug.
I thought that was a part of...
It's a shameless plug for...
So you just started talking about Super Bowl just to plug your show. Oh, okay. I'm out of here. I don't know.
Sorry, we have a show that comes on after the Super Bowl. No, what I want to talk about is another show...
That was smooth. I like that. No.
I'm sorry. Let's talk about a show that's not on this channel, The Sopranos, which has gotten... No, I'm a fan of the show. I've liked it. But... they hyped it to the degree where I just don't want to hear about it again in my life, right? Stephen Holden of the New York Times said, it's the greatest work of American popular culture in the last 25 years. Is this guy on crack? I mean, has he not seen the Ernest movies? All right. Well, anyway, whether it is or not, it's a good show. But, I mean, let's not really have an orgasm over it.
And then there's the Dukes of Hazzard, you know.
But it's so lauded, and nobody ever mentions that it's about this family that obviously kills and is murderous and treacherous. And I couldn't help but thinking, I had Ice Cube here the other day. We're talking about rap music, and rap music got this, for doing the same things, got much more criticism. You know, how can you put that out there for kids to emulate? Well, it's the same thing, isn't it? Isn't there a horrible double standard?
But I think people are fascinated with the mafia and gangsters and all of that. I mean, it goes back to like The Godfather, which is one of my favorite films. But I think that people are just fascinated with the whole lifestyle. And The Sopranos is a well-written show, but I think it's like anything else. When people start to really love something, then everybody turns on it. In the same instance that people say, "Hey, it's really well-written," and
it's certainly been a longer part of our tradition, our history in the United States. The mafia has been glorified way back when Bugsy Siegel went ahead and started Las Vegas, and Al Capone and all of the gangster movies.
Bugsy Siegel was not mafia, he was a Jew.
Well, that could be argued, you know.
He was.
Well, you're touching on the heart of it.
He was in the Kosher Nostra. Hey, please.
Was there a Jewish mafia though?
Kosher Nostra.
Was there a Jewish mafia also?
What happened?
Wasn't there a Jewish mafia as well?
There was, yes, that way Bugsy Siegel and Maher Lansky, right?
Yeah, Maher Lansky. And Maher Lansky was like the consigliere of you know, the backbone of the Italian mafia, right?
But I mean, those were gangster thugs, and the life that a lot of rap music talks about, same thing, gangster thugs.
It's all the media, isn't it, Robert? It's all the media promoting stereotypes which negate our personal experience with people. Robert's a great guy. You know, if he approached me in an alley, I'm not going to.
Oh yes, he's one of the good ones.
I'm saying that stereotypes.
I've always said that about you, Robert. One of the good ones. I've rarely quaked on an elevator with you.
No, the way she said that, it's all the way I just said. Hold on. No, the way.
Stereotypes are for lazy people, and I hate them in their generalizations, and that's what the media does.
Why is one okay and not the other?
Well, but see,
both of them.
But see, the problem is, the real problem is that there's no balance. I mean, so if there's only one show on the air, or there's only one, you know, like right now it's just The Sopranos. There's no other shows with Italian families. The same thing used to happen you know, with African Americans, and now the fight is still on, you know, with City of Angels being the first dramatic show. So there's a fight because in terms of the images, because as a kid growing up, they said black exploitation movies because all you had was like, you know, pimps and hustlers and Superfly and all of that. But those are the only heroes we saw. Other than that, it was like, you want somebody to get your love?
Also, we have to see. We should see exactly what type of lifestyle. I mean, I'm a big fan of rap music.
But
I'm a big fan of rap music. I mean, to the, you know, Tupac and Biggie and even, you know, contemporaries. But the majority of the U.S. population could relate more to this high-flying life that the mafioso seems to be living. Whereas rap music, if you know, you correct me if I'm wrong, I kind of expounds on the ghetto life that a lot of these rappers have grown up in. And people can't relate to that.
What it is that there's like the rap is just coming from a certain segment of the art. You know, you don't hear businessmen, you know, I was on the internet the other day, you know, so I think what it is that when you see that, you know, the music is great, but you don't go like,
yes.
Well, yeah,
.com.
Yes, but
if you think about the Dapper Don,
John Gotti,
about John Gotti, the Teflon Don, the Dapper Don, they really glamorize. You know, these are the guys with the custom-made suits and the silk ties.
What could be
Is that
more
what you're
glamorous?
saying?
Exactly.
This is a high-profile, very rich lifestyle.
And the rappers aren't? Have you seen the giant cross, the giant platinum?
But it's newer.
And nothing says the spirit of Christianity, by the way, more than a cross with platinum and diamonds. That is the spirit I think Jesus had in mind, was great wealth on the cross.
Okay, Dinesh,
Well, I think
it's your turn.
Yes.
It's your turn.
Well, I can say this, I guess, because I'm a person of color, as they say. But see, there are a couple of things to remember. First is, successful groups don't mind stereotypes, even if they're negative. If you go to a comedy show and they're making jokes about the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant is roaring with the next guy. Unsuccessful groups tend to be a little insecure.
No, what he's saying is that it's like this. If you were to turn the TV on right now and you wanted to see a madcap, kooky comedy, you could see that. If you wanted to see a serious actor, you know, it's like it's going to the movies right now. If you want to see, you know, Adam Sandler do something really crazy, but then you got Harrison Ford.
Right.
But if it was, you know, with African Americans, you're just going to see silly comedy. You know, every now and then one slips through.
Like
you know,
Denzel and Hurricane.
Exactly.
It's mostly acceptable. It's more acceptable to make fun of the majority than it is the minority.
I got to take a commercial.
No, why? Why do you have to go to commercial? We don't have to go. We don't have to go.
Join us tomorrow when our guests will be actress Alexandra Paul, musician Cisco, actor radio talk show host Danny Bonaducci, and Christine O'Donnell.
All right, since we have such a balanced panel here, we do, and you're from, what Tennessee is your home state? You're going to hate me because I don't know this.
I'm from Tennessee, but don't classify me as a redneck just because I said Dukes of Hazzard.
Redhead, I said.
Redhead.
Not,
or the last of the Red Hot Mamas, whatever.
No, I would never do that. You're in show business.
We're multiracial here. I love this.
Right.
I wish people did more of this.
Right. But,
Korean American here.
Yes. Okay. So, and the rest they can figure out. Now, you know that there's...
I have some Indian in me, too.
You do?
Yes.
Who is she? Now, you know that in South Carolina they're having this big controversy over the flag. They're still flying the Confederate flag. Listen to this story. It's sort of similar. There's this racial discrimination suit going on because a guy who's a supervisor at the Public Works has a tattoo of the Confederate flag. And these two black guys are suing him, saying he was racist, he didn't promote them when he should, and that is the evidence that he's got the flag tattooed on his arm. I think that's interesting. Does that weigh as evidence? Do you think that should?
I think it does. I think it probably does, because he's probably walking around going, I think that's weird.
But you know, in all seriousness, he could have, you know, had it for personal reasons. I mean, he could have been lost in the woods one day and, you know, saw a Confederate flag on his way out, but saw it on the way back in, and this is my marker to find his way back.
Now,
it's different. And you know, I'm putting it on because now I'm lost and now I'm found, type of thing, right? But,
wait a minute. As much as I detest racism, let's go back and think about this pragmatically. Johnny Depp had Winona Ryder's name tattooed on him when he was 18, right? I've taken care of so many people in the hospital who had a tattoo when they were youthful. They all got tanked up on a six-pack, and he could seriously, you know, regret it. Also, the American flag doesn't, I mean, the Confederate flag
But Winona Ryder, with all due
racism.
respect, never enslaved anyone.
No. But the Confederate flag...
You don't know that.
They went, yeah,
You don't know that.
they were like, wait a second, Bill.
The Confederate
Let's
flag
see some facts on that.
The flag may
Rick
actually
James
be a
was
symbol. That may be a symbol of regionality.
That was a mistake.
You know, when people have a real sense, like down in Texas, these people are rabid about their regional pride.
Well, do you think it should be you think it should pass as just a symbol of heritage?
I think he should be totally judged on his behavior.
Well, and also,
Part of it is why the positioning of the flag is critical. If he had the flag tattooed up here under his shirt, then you could argue it's a part of it's personal expression. It's something he chose to do. On the other hand, if it's being exhibited, okay, I'm not saying it proves he's a racist. He could just be a Robert E. Lee fan.
It's bad.
What about if the boss was a woman also?
No, it's that if you have employees and you're talking about office behavior, and if they say, look, as you say, if you're exhibiting it, if it's something in plain sight, and you're arguing that that proves or means something, look, the guy can go to court and say, no, it doesn't mean that. It just means that my ancestors died in the Civil War.
Right.
It doesn't mean
you're
that.
saying he could put it there because we have the right to bear arms. Is that what you're saying? I got to take a commercial again. I apologize. All right, tomorrow we have Alexandra Paul, Cisco, Danny Bonaducci, and Christine O'Donnell. Now, this is my Benetton ad panel. I'd like it if we could all go out singing Kumbaya, shall we? Kumbaya. You are wrong.